What up, Dokkaners? The 77 thank you special character selection. Now, this can be a very overwhelming thing for new players to deal with. In this thank you celebration, you are going to be given multiple copies of this thank you celebration gift card, which you can then redeem to pick up one of these free SSRs. And these SSRs are pretty sweet, especially if you know where to look. If you're a veteran player, you probably already know what you want. You've probably already picked up the units that you're either missing or the ones that you need to get those extra dupes in to make your units more robust, more powerful. Whatever the case may be, you know what you want. Now, one thing that you could notice with a lot of these characters is that they either have EZAs or could potentially be getting EZAs. More often than not, they will be getting EZAs, which is why they're all clustered here. So for new players, where do you start? Where do you choose which unit is good, which unit is bad? Honestly, it's a very difficult question to answer. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to give you my top picks for which units I feel are the best of the bunch, factoring in a multitude of different things, primarily some of the mechanics that are more sought after in this day and age in the current meta of Dokkan. Of course, if you have your own thoughts and opinions, feel free to share it in the comments down below. It will help out the new players who are primarily watching this video, trying to figure out what they want. Now, before we jump in, I do want to just frame a couple of things. Number one, the start and end date for this whole thing. So the event period starts on the 3rd of November because that's when the celebration started. It's going to be ending next month on the 4th of December. So you have basically 30 days to decide what you want. Now, in terms of acquiring these gift cards, you have a little bit less time. It's going to be ending around the 27th of November, which is around the time that we should be getting the Dragon Ball Hero celebration. Now, the reason why I mentioned that is because by then, I mean, you guys should probably already have all these cards before then, but the reason why I mentioned the Dragon Ball Hero celebration is because during the Dragon Ball Hero celebration, we sometimes get crossover EZAs. Crossover EZAs are basically units that exist outside of the typical Dokkan environment, but they're bringing those characters in just to commemorate that, you know, the Xenoverse characters or the Fighters characters, things like that. We've had units like the Tech Android 16, that's from Fighters. We've had the STR Android 21, she's from Fighters. Both received EZAs. Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, I believe, is from Xenoverse, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't played that game. But Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, those types of characters have received EZAs in the past, most notably last year during the Dragon Ball Hero celebration. If you look at the list here, we see Tectoa, Int Demigra, and Physical Mira. These three characters are poised to receive similar EZAs in the upcoming Dragon Ball Hero celebration. So my advice would be, if you can't decide what you want, or perhaps you want to reserve one or two of these cards for some of those characters, depending on what their EZAs look like, then I would advise that you simply just wait. Because like I said earlier, it's going to be ending on the 4th of December. And the, I mean, if you want to count this in terms of like acquiring these cards, the latest would be the 27th. Both are past the start of the Dragon Ball Hero celebration. The Dragon Ball Hero celebration is set to arrive around the 20th of November. So you'll have around a week plus to make your decision. By the time we get to this, we should have an idea for what units could be receiving EZAs. If not, when this celebration begins, we should definitely know. So that is going to be my advice to you in terms of just practicing restraint and simply waiting. But with that said, I'm going to go over a couple of characters that I think could be useful for you guys to choose from. And once again, feel free to share your own thoughts in the comments down below. Now, among all of these, I think the best pick is going to be the AGL Golden Frieza, simply because with his EZA, he has an uncanny 90% damage reduction, and this unit is a beast on any situation, in any event, in anything that you're trying to do. Whether or not the unit fits the team or not, you've got a 90% damage reduction. So, you know, forget damage for a second. Stop trying to actually deal damage. Just focus on what he's supposed to do. Protect you. He will do that as long as your health is above 40%. So I think this unit is unquestionably the best of the bunch. If you don't have a single copy of this unit, I would advise that you pick him up with one of your cards. And to be clear, you can earn up to five cards, and then you get extra, I think you get 2 extra by doing the Purunga wishes. Yeah, up to 2 gift cards can be obtained by selecting a specific wish on the Purunga Dragon Ball campaign, which will be coming up in a different video. So you will be getting a handful of these cards. So you don't have to just pick one and then think that it's over. You're going to have multiple opportunities. So if you already picked up somebody else, you could come back and get this one if you don't have this AGL Golden Frieza. To be clear, this is the TUR. This is what the SSR looks like. So that is my #1 pick out of everybody. And moving on here, some other units that I think have some really cool abilities and are also overall very useful. I think Physical Weirus would take the #2 spot simply because the unit has the ability to support 2 very powerful categories. One specifically is mainly beneficial for the 7-year LRs. The 7-year LRs, both the LR Gods and the LR Super Saiyan 4s, are both fusion characters. Both could greatly benefit from an extra stat support. And I can't tell you how many times on the physical Omega Shenron Red Zone back in the day when it first came out, this unit clutched it for me, because not only can it change multiple orbs into physical, meaning you're going to have a pretty wide array of physical orbs on any given turn when this guy's around, but on top of that, if you pick up enough orbs, this unit can also dodge. So not only can he support and do a pretty decent job of stacking attack and defense temporarily, but he also has the ability to get himself out of a sticky situation by dodging. So this unit is a very good unit all around, a lot of different abilities, a lot of the different things you can take advantage of. So I think that he is a good unit to include. Up next, further down the list, another fusions character. These guys are both fusions characters. This one is Jenembu. This unit has the ability to raise defense infinitely, but not only that, has the ability to dodge and guard and heal. So this unit is a very defensive oriented unit, but I think is very useful on any extreme class team or any event where you're trying to face off against some powerful AGL opponent. One that comes to mind would be the AGL Metacooler Red Zone event. This guy is really good for that because of his ability to guard, because of his ability to dodge, and of course, constantly raising defense. This guy has a medium chance to dodge, and then he guards all attacks within the same turn after the dodge is successful. So all it takes is one dodge, and then you get the rest of the coverage for the rest of the turn, which is very nice. And then on top of that, recovering 13% at the end of the turn, that's also pretty nice. So this is going to be my number 3. Moving on down the list, the lines start to blur a little bit in terms of which one is better, which one is worse. I feel like these 3 are must-haves because they are the most useful, but there are other units that are also very useful. And again, it depends on what you're trying to overcome. If you're somebody who's struggling on Super Battle Road, this Trunks right here, the Super Saiyan Trunks, which, by the way, I should show the SSR. This guy right here, the Tech Trunks, this is the unit from right here. This guy, I think, is very good for Super Battle Road because he is one of the best Super Battle Road units you can bring because of the insane defensive capabilities that he has and having a medium chance to guard when facing 2 or more enemies, which is a classic case in Super Battle Road. Also, preliminary rounds of Red Zone. So I do like this unit a lot. Raising attack and defense for 6 turns, compounding the effectiveness of his guard. It's really, really good to have this guy. He's one of the better Super Battle Road characters to have. Moving on, I actually very much like this Pan. Now, this one might be a bit of a hot take for some people, but with her EZA, I think that she is actually very useful. Early on, she gets the extra defense plus 120 for the 7 turns from the start of the battle. Also, she's able to raise attack and defense by 30% for 6 turns, so she can have some pretty crazy defensive numbers. And then, over a few turns, she slowly turns into Ultra Instinct. She gains dodge by 15% every single turn, ultimately up to 60%. So once her defense wears off, she's got some dodge left over. This helps make the Hybrid Saiyans team a lot more complete. Also, she helps things like the Kamehameha category, Dragon Ball Seekers, Bond of Friendship, a lot of different categories they're going to be seeing a lot of use out of. This unit is a nice filler unit. You don't need to have any sort of synergy with other characters. She can simply just be there for a stall tactic, which is why I think Pan is actually very useful. And then a couple more down the list. This physical Gohan, he is an excellent support unit. All types, key +2, attack and defense +35. Plus, he gives himself his own chance to dodge and perform critical hits after only performing 3 super attacks in battle. So not only can he pad his stats multiple times if you give him maximum additional, but once you do enough times, this guy can give himself critical hit by 30% and dodge by 30%, which can help you get out of some nice situations. So he is a support who can do a whole bunch of different things. And then, you know, Tech Android 16, a lot of people are down on this guy. The reason why I bring him up is because androids is a very relevant category right now in the meta, especially with some of the units that have just come out. I think this unit is a nice stall tactic. I wouldn't say he's one of the top choices, but he is one that I want to give an honorary mention to because he has the ability to be a pretty high defensive unit, greatly raising attack and defense. He gets even more defense with more androids on the team, and then he also gets more attack with each time his guard is activated, which is 50%. So high chance to guard, kind of annoying, but he is a nice stall tactic for androids. And then, you know, some other units down here, we got some Vegetos. I'm not going to say that these guys are like my top picks, but they are some cool units that you can, you know, pick up if you don't have them. But like I said, every single unit is decent, and so there are more picks that I haven't really mentioned here. So I'm sure other people will have their own thoughts and opinions. Like, for example, Shape Up Boo, great Super Battle Road unit, great all-around support with the Hellfighter and the regular 17. These 2 units are great. There's so many different choices, but hopefully those top picks can help you guys figure this out. My best advice out of all the things that I've said today is to wait until we find out what the Dragon Ball Heroes EZAs are going to be, and to also check out the Dokkan Wiki on each and every character. See for yourself what these units are capable of. See for yourself which ones float your boat, which ones fit your team, which ones fit your playstyle, and then you can pick those up. Worst case scenario, you don't pick up the unit that you want. That's okay. Some of these units will be back in other ways later on down the line. Because they're free now, they will probably be free in other giveaways, in other campaigns in the future. So it's not the end of the world if you don't pick them up right now. It's just a matter of trying to get the best value for what you're being given. Also, STR Topo, one of the best supports out there. So anyway, that is it. I'm going to stop rambling, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, if there are any units that you think deserve a lot more praise. Feel free to share them and your thoughts about why in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Dokkan content in the future and click the notification bell so that you'll let YouTube know when to see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned and always remember to Dokkan responsibly.